Hey everyone, this is Eric here from Personal Profitability, and I had a quick favor to ask you before we get started. Now, this is a pretty new podcast. It's only about 3 months old, and I'm trying to really grow the audience and help as many people as I can. So if you like what you hear here, if you could just take a few minutes and share it on your favorite social networking site with some friends or people you think might enjoy it. If you use Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Reddit, Buffer, StumbleUpon, Tumblr, Instapaper, or if people still use Dig or Delicious, I don't know, I think those went out of style a while back. If you could just take a second and give it a share, I would really appreciate it. Thanks and enjoy the episode.
This is Peter Anderson from BibleMoneyMatters.com. And now, your host, Eric Rosenberg. He'll balance your checkbook, he'll tell you where to invest, and he'll even DJ your wedding. This is the Personal Profitability Podcast.
You're listening to the Personal Profitability Podcast, where you'll learn how to earn income, live better, and put your money to work for you. Here's your guide on your path to personal profitability, Eric Rosenberg.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to the Personal Profitability Podcasts. I am your host, Eric Rosenberg, and today I'm excited to offer my first email question that I'm going to answer on the podcast, and it came from a reader named Amir. Now, Amir owns stock in a company that's being acquired by another company. That's a very common thing in the stock market. But what he wants to know is the company that's being acquired is offering a half of a share for every existing full share of the company you already own. So let's say you own, there was a big news article lately that the company Heinz is purchasing Kraft. I'm just making up an example here. This isn't the real numbers. But in this example, let's say that if you own stock in Kraft today, and that's worth maybe $10 a share, and the bigger company, Heinz, is buying that company, and their stock's at, let's say, $20 a share. So what they're going to do is offer you one half of a Heinz share for every existing Kraft share you own. Now, if you own, let's say, 100 shares of Kraft, you would get 50 shares of Heinz in your portfolio to replace that, which happens automatically one day when that deal closes. Your stockbroker will just take care of it for you. There's nothing to do. But what Amir wants to know is, let's say you own an odd number of shares. So let's say maybe you own 5 shares of Kraft. What will happen when it's bought by Heinz? So what will happen is you'll end up with 2.5 shares in your portfolio. And that's called a fractional share. Anytime you own less than a whole share, that's the industry term, it's a fractional share. And this is a totally normal thing. It's nothing to worry about. When you get the fractional shares in your account, you'll see it as 2.5 shares. And it doesn't even have to be a half a share. It can be any possible permutation of a fraction. It could be 0.1 or 0.33 or 0.6. It doesn't matter. And in the past, you couldn't generally buy fractional shares. Now you can through services like Loyal3. It's a broker that I use and recommend myself. You can buy and sell shares there with 0 trade fees, 0 commissions. You can't buy every stock, but there's a pretty good list. So that's a great place to look if you're starting out investing in individual stocks. And there you can buy in dollar amounts rather than in shares. So let's say you want to buy $400 of a stock. You can do that. And that will give you a fractional ownership of a stock because odds are there's not an even stock price that divides by 400. And that's totally okay. So Amir, what will happen is when you're ready to sell your shares, depending on your brokerage, the way my brokerage does it, the whole shares will go through in one transaction. It'll show up as one line on your statement, and the fractional share will show up as a second line on your statement. Some brokers combine them into one. My brokerage that I used for selling fractional shares like this was Charles Schwab. I have an account there as well. And you get your money just like selling any other stock. You just get that portion of the share price. So if you own a half a share that's worth $10, you'll get $5 for it, which is the market value. So that's the answer. If you have any questions yourself, whether you want to send them in by email or by audio, I would love to hear from you. The next 2 people who leave audio questions that are featured on this podcast will get a free copy of a book The Happiness of Pursuit by Chris Guillebeau. I've read it myself. It's a great book, and I'm thrilled to give away the last 2 copies I have. I've already given away 3, so thanks for those people. If you'd like to be featured on the show with your question, just go to PersonalProfitability.com, click on the little hamburger icon at the top to get to the menu, and click on the Ask Eric page. You can leave a question there using your computer's built-in microphone or your cell phone, however you record audio. You can use that, and it's very easy to do. It just takes a few seconds. So I'd love to hear from you, and thank you very much, Amir, for your question. And until I talk to you guys next time, stay profitable.
Thanks for listening to the Personal Profitability Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a rating on iTunes or share it with a friend.